Every morning after she passed, a red cardinal appeared on my windowsill. It didn't sing or flutter. It simply sat and watched me quietly. I couldn't explain why, but its presence calmed me, like a warm breath on a cold morning, like her. There was a teacup on the table, delicate roses painted around the rim. It hadn't been touched in weeks, but the room smelled like cinnamon. Her scent, her memory, still steeped in the air. That old quilt had always been hers, covered in little red hearts, sewn for the people she loved. She called them prayers with thread. I used to watch her fingers dance across the fabric. Now I ran mine over a new heart stitched in the center. Mine. A silent welcome. Her garden bloomed brighter after she was gone. Red tulips swayed beside lavender, as if singing in colour. It felt like the earth remembered her hands, like she was still tending things, just differently, maybe with light. I opened the window and saw it, a red feather resting like a secret. No wind had placed it there, no bird had flown by, just a message left quietly. A whisper without words. The radio hadn't worked in years. Then one morning, it crackled alive, just once, and played her favourite song. The one she used to hum while cooking. I stood still, barely breathing. It felt like a voice had slipped through time. Steam curled from my mug, though I hadn't filled it. And there beside it, a single red feather. I hadn't moved, no windows were open, but something had been here, something kind. I dropped everything, books, keys, grief. It all spilled onto the floor. Right in the middle, impossibly placed, was a red feather. In the chaos, it was calm, a thread of stillness. It caught the sunlight just right, a feather hovering mid-air like it was floating on memory. There was no breeze, no bird, just this impossible pause in time. A reminder that even grief can be weightless for a moment. The window had fogged from the morning chill, and someone, not me, had drawn a small heart in the mist. I stared at it, silent. There were no footprints, just warmth left behind. Outside, the garden had never looked more alive. Birds circled the tree she used to love, and petals covered the grass like confetti. I stood behind the glass and watched it bloom. It felt like she was throwing a welcome party from the other side. At golden hour the garden glowed, every bloom opened wide as if smiling. And there, on the gate, her old sun hat swinging gently in the breeze, she hadn't worn it in years, but somehow it found its way back. Tucked inside her journal was a letter. I don't know when she wrote it, it wasn't addressed to me, but every word curled into my chest like a memory I'd forgotten. There was a pressed flower and a red feather inside, a secret stitched in paper. The cardinal flew across a pale blue sky, wings outstretched. I watched, stunned. It didn't flap or rush, just glided, like it knew where it was going, like it was showing me the way. I lit a candle that night, not for the light, but for her. Next to it was a photo and a heart-shaped stone she gave me when I was small. The flame flickered once, as if nodding. She was near. Somehow, I knew. The quilt was folded neatly, placed on the old armchair like she had just left the room. One heart stood out. Eli stitched gently in red thread. She had made it before she passed, with hands that somehow knew I'd need its comfort. Every night I pull it over me and it feels like she's tucking me in, quietly, lovingly. That morning, the lake was still, like it was waiting. A single red feather floated onto the surface and spun slowly. I watched it settle, barely breathing. It didn't make a ripple, but it moved something in me, something deep. Inside the old drawer I found a ribbon, a chipped teacup, and an envelope marked Hope. It felt like opening a memory. The handwriting was hers, soft, familiar. Sometimes that hope isn't loud. Sometimes it's tucked away, waiting to be found. The sky was full of wings, cardinals circled a blooming tree, red against green, feathers and petals drifting together like a dance. It wasn't just one sign, it was many. A chorus, a celebration, as if she brought friends this time. From behind the curtain I saw a shadow, small still. It looked like a child watching the birds. But I was alone. Or maybe not. Maybe the watching was shared. The heart-shaped ornament hung from the doorknob, swinging slightly. I had no memory of placing it there, but seeing it made my chest ache in the sweetest way. It felt like someone had come by to leave a reminder. Love lives here. The room was quiet, lit only by moonlight. A red feather lay beside the last bit of a candle nearly burned down. Shadows danced gently along the windowsill. Even in the dark, she found ways to say, "I'm here." On the table was a note in her handwriting, "You're not alone." Beside it, a sprig of lavender and one of her feathers. I didn't cry right away. I just placed my hand over the words and breathed. And for the first time in days, I believed it. The garden bench held her yellow hoodie, folded just the way she used to do. A notebook lay open, pages fluttering slightly. Morning dew kissed the wood. She had left something behind, not just objects, but warmth. A trace of her spirit. The sky was filled with falling red feathers like snowflakes of memory. They drifted slow and soft, glowing in the golden light. I looked up, heart full. It didn't feel like goodbye. It felt like love, sent from above